Alright guys, welcome back to another brand new video. Hope you guys are all doing well. Man, today Bitcoin is looking much better than where it was yesterday. Okay, even though yesterday we did see Bitcoin pumping back up to 107, but today it's much higher. So I do want to talk about it. I do want to of course give you guys an update what is exactly happening right now for Bitcoin. And since Bitcoin is pumping back up right now, okay, almost back up to its previous highs of 111. What can we expect? Okay, will this pump continue? Will we actually see Bitcoin going back up to its previous highs, even reaching a new high? That is exactly what I want to talk about, because there is in fact some Bitcoin charts that I do in fact want to show you guys. So let's begin, guys. Right now, Bitcoin is looking much better than where it was yesterday, right? Like I said yesterday, we did actually see Bitcoin pump it back up to 107, but today it's continuing to pump back up to the upside. Okay, and now Bitcoin is currently holding at $109,000. Okay, at one point, right, it went as high as 109.8, so it did almost reach back up to 110. Didn't quite get there. Right now, okay, Bitcoin did in fact have this little correction back down to the downside, right? But it is still holding at 109. Okay, so looking pretty good for Bitcoin, right? It really is. It truly is looking like Bitcoin is ready to reach back up to its previous highs of $111,000. Okay, this was Bitcoin's previous highs. And when was this actually? Let's have a look here. Let's go to the daily time frame so we can see this a bit more better. But yeah, the last time we seen Bitcoin at its previous highs was in May. Okay, so a couple months back, we did see Bitcoin reaching a high of $111,000, and ever since then, right, it's just been going down, right? You guys can clearly see that. So it's looking like Bitcoin is ready to have a breakout. Okay, and yeah, once we do see Bitcoin having this breakout, once we do see it, going back up to its previous highs, it's going to have a breakout and it's going to continue to go much higher, reaching new highs. Okay, so I really do believe that is very possible for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin holders, be ready for that, right? Bitcoin is nearing a new all-time high, right? It really is. Now, the crypto market today, yes, Bitcoin is pumping, but altcoins today, man, alts are pumping. Look at Ethereum. Ethereum is now back at $2.5 thousand, okay, almost at 2.6. So if we look over here, man, Ethereum is looking absolutely amazing, right? Ethereum is pumping, okay, looking pretty good right now for Ethereum. It is up almost 8% today, okay, whereas Bitcoin is only up over 3%. So Bitcoin is moving much more than Bitcoin, right? So looking pretty good for Ethereum. Okay, this is a sign for alt season, hopefully, but the Bitcoin dominance is not showing any weakness, guys, right? It is still above 65%, and yeah, the Bitcoin dominance is still not showing much weakness. Okay, like I said many times, I really do believe alt season will eventually be happening. Hopefully sometime during these time periods of Q3 and in Q4, right? So we know we are in fact in Q3 right now, and yeah, it is still looking pretty good for Q3, right? This is a good start for this new quarter, right, of the year and new month, right? We are in fact in July now, okay? And this is the only third day into this month of July, and it's still looking pretty good, right? So yeah, alts are moving, right? You guys can clearly see that. A lot of alts are up over at least 5%. So that is absolutely amazing to see. And overall today, the market's up over 3%. So looking pretty good for the crypto market today, guys, right? It really is. But yeah, Ethereum is really on the move, right? Which is great to see. So the Bitcoin monthly returns, okay, July we are up over 2%. Okay, Q2 we are up over 2% for Bitcoin. Sorry, for Q3 we are up for Bitcoin, right? You guys clearly see that. Same with Ethereum, of course, right? It's up almost 5% for Q3. So looking pretty good for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. A good start, right? But this is only just the beginning, okay? So we will see where July would take us. I mean, July is a pretty decent month, okay, for Bitcoin, right? You guys can clearly see that. So, we will see where this month will take us for Bitcoin, right? Now, the Fear and Greed Index right now is currently at 73. Of course, in greed mode for the past few weeks, we have in fact been in greed mode, even though, for the past few days and weeks, we did see Bitcoin going up and down a whole bunch. As we know, Bitcoin is pretty volatile, right? Short term. But of course, the Fear Greed Index is still in greed mode, right? So this is absolutely amazing to see, guys. Okay. Now, Standard Chartered expects Bitcoin to hit new highs of $135,000 in Q3. And personally, I think, yes, that is very, very possible that we do see Bitcoin reaching a new high during this quarter, right, in 2025. So I do believe, like I said, Q3, right, we'll see Bitcoin reaching new highs. Okay, I really do believe that is pretty possible for Bitcoin. Looking at this chart from Ton of Crypto, Bitcoin bull flag breakout attempt. Okay, bullish MACD crossover. If Bitcoin breaks out, confirm. Okay, Bitcoin breakout confirms. $137,000 remains the magnet. Okay, so as clearly see, the target is $137,000. Okay, so if we do see a breakout happening for Bitcoin, man, it's gonna be crazy, guys. Okay, we're gonna see Bitcoin reaching new highs, right? So I hope you guys are prepared for that. Okay, 135, 137 is coming for Bitcoin, so be prepared for that. It is very possible, like I said, that Bitcoin will be reaching new highs during this quarter, right, in Q3. Okay, but understand, guys, in Q3, right, August and September are pretty bearish months. Okay, please understand that, guys. But this time could be different. Okay, history doesn't exactly repeat itself, right? But Yasin's clearly see in August and September are pretty bearish months for Bitcoin, right? Yasin's clearly see, especially in September. Okay, Yasin's clearly see from 2022 all the way to 2017, we saw reds. Okay, during those time periods for September, during those years. But things could change, just last year in 2024, we saw it up over 7%, okay? And that was actually the best performing September for Bitcoin throughout its history, right? It was only up 7%, so nothing too crazy, but at least it was in the greens. And 2023, right, it was also in the greens. So who knows, maybe 2025 this year could be different for Bitcoin, but we'll have to see because, like I said, and I already talked about this in my previous video that I made like 2 days ago, whether Bitcoin is going to be pumping or dumping during this time period of this quarter in Q3. But I do believe we're going to see a lot of ups and downs for Bitcoin. I just do. Okay. But yeah, we will have to see where Bitcoin will be reaching. Okay. But I do believe Bitcoin will for sure, reach new all-time highs. Okay. And Bitcoin is not too far off from, reaching its previous highs, even reaching a new high. Like I said, right, Bitcoin is nearing a new all-time high, right? It really, really is. But yeah, look at this, guys. Bitcoin every last 6 months of each year. So this is pretty cool, right? And this is actually pretty interesting. From June 2020, Bitcoin was at 9K. And then from December of 2020, it jumped all the way to almost 29K, right? So it pumped over 200%, right? And if you guys look over here in June 2021, it was at 37K, and then December 2021, it was at 59K. Okay, but in June 2022, it was at 31K, and then December 2022, it was at 16K. We know in 2022, we were obviously in a bear cycle, in a bear market, and Bitcoin dropped quite a bit. Okay, especially in the year 2022. I felt like 2022 was honestly one of the worst bear markets ever that we have seen for Bitcoin and crypto in general, right? I don't know if you guys were around for Bitcoin and crypto during 2022, but it was honestly pretty bad times. Okay, it would have been the best time to obviously buy. And that's when I personally really, really accumulate a lot of Bitcoin, a lot of, the olds like Ethereum and whatnot. But yeah, it was pretty harsh times, guys. Okay, but then in June 2023, all the way to December 2023, it was looking pretty good, right? It was up 55%, and then June 2024 was at 67K. December 2024, it was at 93K. So yeah, it jumped quite a bit, right? You guys can clearly see that. So will this time be different? Okay, June 2025, okay, 104, and where will Bitcoin be towards the end of this year in 2025. You guys can clearly see, okay, Bitcoin does perform pretty amazingly in the last 6 months of each year. Okay, so will history repeat itself? I think it will. I think Bitcoin will be much, much higher compared to where it is right now. We will see Bitcoin reaching new all-time highs. I do believe, okay, Q4 is going to be a fantastic, time for Bitcoin, because just to clearly see, we got some very, very bullish months during Q4, like for example, October and November, right? Especially October. A lot of people call it October for a reason, because you guys clearly see October, man, Bitcoin has been going up a whole bunch. A lot of greens for the month of October during different years for Bitcoin, right? You guys clearly see that a lot of greens. We only had 2 red Octobers during 2014 and 2018, right? And the rest of the years for October were in the green. So man, I'm expecting Q4 to really push Bitcoin to that 150 to 180 to even 200k level. I do believe that is coming for Bitcoin, right? And speaking about that, I want to show you guys this. Okay, so Bitcoin is facing resistance at the upper trend line, and the 1.618 Fibonacci level breakout here could trigger a massive bull run. Okay, and Bitcoin is already having a breakout from this Fibonacci retracement level, right? 1.618. Okay, so does that mean we're gonna see Bitcoin going to 130 to 140 to 150 and beyond? I think it is, because Bitcoin is much, much higher from this Fibonacci retracement level, okay, at 106. So yeah, we are in fact seeing a breakout happening for right now for Bitcoin. And yeah, I think it's going to lead to new highs, guys. Okay, so looking at this chart, right, if history repeats, we could see Bitcoin reach $250,000 soon. And that's true, right? I love this chart. It's very, very simple to understand. Okay, and you guys can clearly see from 2020 to 2021, Bitcoin really, really skyrocketed. And I told you guys many times, okay, Bitcoin is about to enter this banana zone. Okay, it is coming, guys. Okay, when Bitcoin is in this, zone, in this banana zone, bull zone, okay, it's going to skyrocket. Okay, we're going to see Bitcoin pretty much going parabolic. We're going to see some gold candles forming for Bitcoin. So hope you guys are ready for that. And I told you guys, yes, I do believe Bitcoin will be reaching 150, 180 to even $200,000 to even 220 to 250, right? It is very, very possible, maybe even higher than 250, 280, 300k. It is possible. Okay, it is very, very possible, guys. So be prepared, because Bitcoin, I truly do believe, will be reaching these price targets. Okay, it is very, very possible. So understand, Bitcoin bull run begins. Okay, the banana zone is about to happen. You have to clearly see RSI. The bullish cross is forming, which is very, very bullish, because every single time we see this bullish cross forming for Bitcoin, it does lead to a uptrend, right, to a upside. Okay, so be prepared for that, because because Bitcoin is about to go much, much higher. Okay, so be ready for that, guys. But yeah, looking pretty good for Bitcoin today, right? It is looking absolutely amazing, back at 109. And yeah, like I said, Bitcoin is really looking like it wants to reach back up to its previous highs. It's not too far off from reaching back up to 111, right? Almost 112. Okay, so I do believe very, very soon, okay, if Bitcoin continues to pump back up to the upside, yes, we're going to see Bitcoin reaching new highs in no time. Okay, so Bitcoin is truly nearing a new all-time high, and I hope you guys are all prepared for that, because it is going to be happening very, very soon. So be prepared for that. But yeah, appreciate all you guys for watching today's video. Give this video a thumbs up, and of course subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. That is always much, much appreciated. And yeah, I will catch you guys all in my next video. Have a good one, guys.